Hello, everybody. Before we get started, just want to take care of a couple things first, and this would be one of them.
Join us on YouTube starting April 26th for a 48-hour Making a Murderer telethon. We will be discussing the case, raising awareness for the cause, promoting the Justice Rally taking place on June 15th, and most importantly, raising money for Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey's canteens. Join hosts Erekose on Making a Murderer, Allie Apperson, Tracy Strunzi, and Paul Capaldi for engaging conversation, discussion of new developments, and analysis of just what the heck is in all these legal documents. We even have some surprise special guests lined up, so catch up on your sleep now because you won't want to miss 1 minute. For more information, see our event page on Facebook. Just go to bit.ly/Mammoth-on. That's bit.ly/MAMATHON. You can also visit us on Twitter. We can't wait to see you there.
All right, so that is one of the Mammoth-on promotional trailers. That one's featuring Finn, brilliant in the voiceover there. And the second thing we're going to go ahead and do before we get into this exactly.
Don't get strange, no, I ain't getting strange, don't get strange, I ain't getting strange, I'm sick of the suffering, can't stand the pain, don't get strange. Well, we know the story, oh, ain't the way they say, we can see, they got two Brennan's head, totally insane. Get strange.
AT1.
Everything they got, questionable evidence gathered by many walls, but it makes such sense. Why they're in the game, don't get strange. Don't get strange, no, oh, now I ain't getting strange, don't get strange. I ain't getting straight. And that lying, that cheating, that predatory sweaty, anything he says, you can throw away. He's a legal stain. Don't get strange. Only we finally find out who's to blame. Don't get strange.
Don't get strange. Alrighty. How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Here I am. Hello. Wearing my new shirt that was given to me by Sharon. This shirt. Very proud of it. And welcome. How you doing, everybody? We're here today talking a little bit more. You know, last few videos I was doing, people were talking about any new developments. Really, the most latest developments are the two things I'm going to really talk about in this video. And possibly a little bit of Game of Thrones, maybe. You know, it's about to go down in Winterfell. Anyway. But then again, I don't want to do any spoilers. So, you know, maybe we'll stay away from it. But, oh, man. It's hard to believe there's only one. This is the last season, and they're going to be trying to wrap this all up. But ought to be interesting. Happy Easter, everybody. How you doing, Travis? What's up, buddy? 5 pounds. Oh, because of Easter? Yeah. Oh, man, we had some delicious ham. Oh, man, it was good, dude. It was tender. It was really, really good. Hold on, just pulling my monitor closer, folks. Sorry. So I can read your comments a little more easily. There we go. Yeah, could be T1, could be. That's funny though. So, I actually made a meme. And you just go through this case and you just point out all the different stuff that makes you shake your head. But I made a meme earlier today. I can probably share it here with you guys. Dun, 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 dun. It's King Kratz meme, in particular, it's the picture of him when he's like when Judge Willis is basically saying, hey, does the state know what happened to these voicemails? And he's like, if we had any idea that the defense was going to be, and all whatever, like he's, when he's like, right? That's what this is from. So open that up. Let me do a little screen share with you guys. So that's the one I made today. That's, to me, hilarious. Whoops. It's the look on his face. He's just like, looking sideways, like, what do I say? What? Anyway, so I don't know. I was having a little fun this morning and I made that. So, hello. And, just goofing around, but it's just one of the other things in this case that's like bonkers, like wacky. All of the different things. It's like I was saying with Tracy Keogh. Those of you who saw my little talk with Tracy Keogh last night, was if it was just a couple little things, then that would be one thing. But it's not. It's continuous crud, just continuously all throughout the investigation, again and again and again and again and again. And I mean, even going into the present day, because of the way all the efforts that they were taking to hide what they had done in 2011. The stuff now that Drizzen has brought all of our attention to is the whole polygraph of Brendan. Huge. To me, that's just another huge indicator of Brendan's innocence and that he was trying to tell the truth, but he was getting veered off of that to please investigators. It's, to me, anyways. So, dirty deleted, yeah. You got caught sexting. Yeah, probably the same face, right? Yeah, absolutely. Dirty deletes done dirt cheap. That's funny. That's good. I like that. We gotta get Stacy working on that one. Face you make when you slam shut when you're caught covering a lie. Yeah, there you go. I have seen some really fancy ones, but don't think I ever saw a multi one before. Okay, not sure what the hell that's. The heck are you talking about, Travis? Anyway, so to get to the first part of this is obviously what's one of the most recent developments. Now, obviously, Brendan, is in a bit of a holding pattern at the moment. They're right now just sitting back and probably collecting information, deciding, weighing all the options and deciding the best way to proceed. But I will tell you this: and I was saying this with Tracy Keogh last night. Those of you who haven't checked out the talk with Tracy Keogh, you need to go check that out. She's brilliant. We even had Allie and Scooby on at the end. We were all together with Tracy and them and I, and it was basically like Glowman featuring with Erekose. Anyway. So hey, check out the one from yesterday if you haven't already. It was really good, great talk. I love Tracy Keogh, and we were talking about all these things, and we were talking about how there's these indicators, so many indicators, with Brendan, and things that show that he was innocent, that he was telling the truth, that he was getting ripped away from that by, well, I'm willing to consider the possibility that Tom Fassbender and Mark Wiegert were just completely overzealous and just weren't thinking about what they were doing and what was happening, that they just kind of were on automatic pilot because interrogations are unpleasant to begin with. So maybe they have a certain like blinders that they put on when they go into an interview so that they didn't realize what was happening in front of them. Maybe. Not saying that is what happened, but I'm saying maybe. I'm willing to acquiesce to the possibility that could be, and it could have just been overzealousness. But as a lot of people pointed out in the live last night with Tracy, there was a lot of K's that came down for knowingly did it, and not a single O came out for overzealous. So, that's what this looks like, because anybody with a half a brain that looks at what was going on in that confession immediately goes, "Oh my God, this is a freaking train wreck. This passed in a court of law," So it is bizarre, but it's, yeah. Anyways, so we move on to talk about this polygraph. That's why you see the hashtag indicators of innocence down below the video here, right? So that's what Brendan, insisting on a polygraph, that's one indicator of his innocence. It's not like something you just go, okay, oh, that's it, we're done here. That means he didn't do it, but it's one indicator. Along with the fact that this kid has been telling the same story all along until until these investigators start browbeating him and until he changes the story. And then it becomes this convoluted mess of them attempting to feed him what they need him to say and all these various things, and it goes off the rails at several points. And it is exactly what it's an attempt at deception, and they're trying to get Brendan to be their patsy. And that's what it really is, because why are they feeding him all this information? I mean, it's not even just half of it or just a little bit of it. It's virtually everything. Almost virtually every single thing. And the things that aren't fed to him by the investigators could have easily been learned in the media, because the media was plastering all these, various things all over the place. And of course, him and his family were watching that at night when they were at home. It was about where they live, right? So of course they were watching that. And so of course he had an awareness of what was being said in the media. So it's like, when you look at this thing, it's completely ridiculous. And you look at the fact that he was insisting on the polygraph test, because he basically reasoned in his mind, and Brendan's just a simple kid. I mean, I guarantee you he wasn't thinking, oh, I can beat the lie detector. That's not Brendan. Anybody that thinks that's Brendan is cuckoo bananas, because that's just not Brendan. He doesn't have that in him in any way, shape, or form. But what he did reason with his simple mind and his simple logic was, I didn't do this. So if I do a lie detector, then that will be proof to help me prove that I didn't do this, right? And I guarantee you that was the simplicity of the thought in Brendan's head when he was insisting for that lie detector. Okay, so Reed tells you in their own handbook that when someone is insisting on a polygraph, that's generally an indicator of innocence. Generally, right? Okay. So then the polygraph is administered on Brendan. When the results are put in front of Brendan, and it's like a 94% or something like that is what he's shown, right? Brendan looks at it, and Michael Kelly looks at Brendan. He goes, what do you think that percentage means or whatever? For your polygraph. And Brendan immediately, thinking because he was telling the truth, right, immediately responds and says, it means I was telling the truth. And then Michael Kelly shakes his head no or whatever, telling Brendan that meant he failed the polygraph. And then after dejecting him in that way, proceeds to browbeat him again, just the way that Wiegert and Fassbender did. And this is his own defense attorney's investigator, and is browbeating him again and telling him what to write, telling him what to draw, word for word, pretty much, and then throwing him to Wiegert and Fassbender again, who then coerce him into making the call to his mother and admitting to all this stuff to her again over the phone so that it could be recorded, so that they could use that at trial to further incriminate him. And nobody knew how that call came about, but it was only when Robert Dvorak eventually tracked down O'Kelly during the appeal in Brennan's appeal in, I think it was 2013. Robert Dvorak tracked down Mike O'Kelly and drug his sorry butt back to Wisconsin, along with all of his tapes, all of his records of everything that went down with Brendan. And that's how they were able to get all that information, and they were able to figure out how that call on the prison phone basically happened and what precipitated it. They didn't understand how Brendan ended up in the hands of Wiegert and Fassbender. They were never able to figure that out until they found O'Kelly and drug him back to Wisconsin on a subpoena and got all that information from him. So these are the games being played in this case. There's so many games being played. I mean, basically members of Brendan's own defense counsel acting as agents of the state and in the interest of the state and only the state. And it's sad. All right, what's going on in the chat here? Let's see, I know when it happens. At least Brendan could finally spend Easter together with his family today. Yep, there's the link to my video with Tracy and Allie and Scooby. Statute violations apply. Hope that this case eventually inspires reform. Hey everyone, remember to change your chat to live chat instead of top chat. There you go. See, at least Brendan can find, yeah. Everyone, sorry. Pom, you should go over them because people need to be aware of them when looking at what anyone claims or comes up with KK or KZ or postulates proposed on YouTube, Reddit, or whatever. I can make up a document to review during Mammoth-on if you think that would be helpful. T-Bone, yes, same status applies. However, the materiality and degree it may be exculpatory can be different based upon the facts about the bones came in during Brendan's trial. Liking the scruffy look, yeah, well. Rugged. Would think it would be very interesting topic for someone to cover. Bring you on. Maybe I'll see what Tracy wants to do that. I have a PowerPoint I'm working on first, though. So it's getting pretty crazy. Mammoth-on. I don't know if you guys saw, there is a schedule, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Before we go into talking about statute, let me just share this real quick. And this will give you guys an idea of the kind of the timing of things. So this shows here, this is all in United States Central Standard Time. For those of you who need to use your phone world clock to go ahead and figure out what time these mean for you. So go to your world clock, find out if you type in Wisconsin, if you type in Manitowoc or Green Bay, Wisconsin, you'll get Central Time Zone. You'll get that time, and then you can compare from there what time that will be for you. If you're over in Europe and Australia and all the various places, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, and wherever else that you might be tuning into Mammoth-on, just remember that these are times that are in Central Standard Time in the U.S. So make sure you, like I said, type in Green Bay or Manitowoc, Wisconsin into your world clock on your phone, and it'll give you the time for Central Standard Time, and then you can figure out from there if you are outside the United States. However, okay, so Friday, April 26th at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, it kicks off with me. Okay, and I go from 9 to 1 a.m. Central Standard Time, kicking off with Erekose. Okay, by 1 a.m. Central Standard Time, it is now Saturday, April 27th. So at 1 a.m. On Saturday, April 27th, I handed it over to Allie Apperson. And what will happen is she will most likely come on to the end of my live about 10 or 15 minutes before mine ends. She'll jump onto mine. Her and I will chit-chat for a little while until it actually is 1 o'clock. And then at that point, she will jump off just a minute before 1 o'clock so that she can go over and get her hangout started and everything. And then once she starts, I'll end my stream and jump onto hers for about 10 or 15 minutes. And every time we hand off, we're going to try to do that, where the person coming on will come on to the previous person's stream for a little while, and then the person who's going off will go on to that person's stream for a little bit. So anyway, so then it goes to Allie. Then at 5 a.m., it goes to Paul, the Mad Scotsman. Okay, so 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. will be Paul. Then at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, Central Standard Time, remember, these times are all in Central Standard Time. So at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Tracy Strunzi will take over, and she will go until 1 o'clock. Tracy is basically a lawyer. Those of you know Tracy well will know basically a lawyer is her page on Facebook and also the name of her YouTube channel. So then at 1 o'clock, it will hand off again back to me. Tracy will hand off to me, and then I will go from 1 to 5 on Saturday. And then at 5 o'clock, it'll go back to Allie. Then from 5 to 9, and then at 9 o'clock, it will go back to Tracy again. Then that will go till 1 a.m., right? So that means that comes out onto Sunday. So from 1 to 5, you will have the Mad Scotsman. And then at 5 a.m. to 9, you will have Allie. Then at 9 to 1, you will have Tracy. Then from 1 to 5, you will have Paul again. And then ultimately handing off to me to wrap it up on Sunday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, wrapping up with Erekose. So this is the schedule. I made a tweet about this, folks. You guys can go over to my Twitter and see it there. So feel free to do so. But that's the schedule. That tells you there where you'll be able to find the stream at any given time during Mammoth-on weekend. It's going to be right there where you'll know. So if you look at your clock and you're on your centrals, and you do like I suggest and type in Manitowoc or Green Bay, Wisconsin, and find out what the time is central. If you look at that and see whatever time it is, you look at this, you'll know where the stream is. You'll know whose channel to go to. So that's kind of why I'm making such a big deal about this, because I want people to understand it's important, and it will help you find out where the stream is at any given time. So, hello, we're back. Thought it was important to show that, though, so that people know where to find the stream. Hello, Deborah. Central. It's Central Time. Fine, daylight time. Central Daylight Time. My point is, folks, if you can argue over this little piece of minutia, or you can just go into your world clock on your phone and type in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Then you're going to know what the time is. And just do it like I said, because it's going to make it much easier than trying to figure out all these different terminologies. 1 to 5, that's a lot of havering. That's funny. Central Time. Okay, so like I said, folks, type in Green Bay on your world clock on your phone, and then you won't go wrong because it's going to tell you what the time is central if you have that entered in. You got that, Travis? Enter Green Bay in, then you'll be able to figure it out, buddy. Just playing. So, the next big thing with the cases at this moment in time, obviously, is the recent developments with the bones. Obviously, the bones should have never been given back to the Hall box in 2011. I think that's obvious because the state did it, but the state did it knowing that they shouldn't. And you know why I can say that? Because I can see the efforts they went to hide what they did. And the way that they continued to keep that buried all the way into the present day and weren't upfront about it when Zellner came on board. And she eventually found it. You know? But they knew what they did was wrong. They knew they shouldn't have done it. And that's why they were trying to hide it. And what this all comes down to is some bones that were found in the Manitowoc County gravel pit. Bones that were identified as human bone by Leslie Eisenberg. Bones that had cut marks on them from some tool that was cutting the bone. And yeah, just some disturbing imagery of what was happening there. She wanted to test these bones to prove that they were Teresa's because she feels reasonably sure, and I think the state probably reasoned the same way when they gave them back, even though they shouldn't have, that the bones are Teresa's. And because when you add those bones to the bones in the burn pit, you still don't have any duplicate bones. You don't have any extra bones, right? There's two femurs, two whatever, there's just, right, there's all the proper number of bones that should be there. There's not like 3 femurs or 2 skulls, or you know what I mean. There's nothing like that. There's no duplicate bones, so it stands to reason that they are Teresa's remains, and that's probably what the state rationalized in their head when they gave them back to the Hall box in 2011, when, as they argue now, they essentially, to paraphrase, reawakened the Hallbach family grief. Their argument is that they reawakened the Hallbach family grief to give them animal bones, or potential animal bones, right? Because they're saying they don't know what it is that they gave them. That's their argument now. So you can see how this keeps getting worse and worse. The more that they have to answer for this, the more that they kind of incriminate themselves. If I don't know if you guys noticed that, but anyway, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll judge Sukowitz. Will she grant a hearing on this? Will she finally just be looking at it going, you know what? Can we really ignore this? I don't know. We'll have to see how she goes. But if she doesn't, it'll go back to the appeals court. And I can tell. It seems to me that there's an error at the appeals court, that there's some very unamused judges there. I mean, I think, especially after seeing that response to the state, the state's response on appeal, when they were saying Avery could drop his current appeal to pursue the testing and stuff, right? And just really crazy stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, those bones, I mean, it's like I said, I mean, and Zellner's onto something here. It is exculpatory to me because if Stephen Avery's burn pit was the original burn site, you would have, like, for instance, all the rivets and all the teeth and the waist button from the jeans that Teresa was wearing, the Daisy Funnies jeans. But you're missing rivets. There's a couple missing. You're missing the waist button for those jeans. So, and then you only have about maybe 60% of the bones there, or whatever. 40 to 60% of the bones there, right? And then you have all these bones over in the Manitowoc County gravel pit, which is over across the Redont Quarry, fair distance away. And these bones have cut marks on them, and from some type of tool. And so she's saying, look, if Stephen had killed her over there, which it looks like that is the actual place that this probably really happened. Somebody had a burn barrel right there and did, because there's bloody rags over there. There's little spots of blood over there. DNA profile CX, right? Is it CX? I think it's CX comes from over there. It's the unidentified male profile blood that they found over there. It's just, very odd things, like and suggesting that something very heated was going down there, and everything. So it doesn't make sense that Stephen would have moved all this stuff back to his own doorstep. And she's right. It doesn't make sense that he would have done that. If he did this over there, he would have left it over there. And so there's a certain kind of degree of really killer logic in this. It's like, of course he wouldn't put things on his own doorstep. And the fact that we can't even now test those, really, not without possibility of contamination, now that they've been put into who knows what happened to them after they were taken out of the state's custody, put into a box, given to a funeral home. Who knows what they did with it that might have compromised it or contaminated them. Anyways, on and on it goes. So now it's really difficult to test those and figure out what happened. It's a sticky hole. It's a whole sticky thing. But what I am going to point out is that the dishonest nature of the state throughout, again and again, these things continue to come out, and we see this dishonest nature of the state, and how they're holding things back, and they are playing games, right? Well, okay, Travis, talking about that. So the when I was in Melbourne and we went and saw Drizzt, Knight Rider, and Rudolph, at one point Knight Rider brought up that Brendan is essentially right now at the same point that Steven was at the end of MAM season 1. Zellner hadn't come on board yet. Right when it came out, Zellner didn't come on board yet. And he basically he hadn't filed a MPCR yet, a 97604, or no, sorry, a 97406. He hadn't filed that yet. So Zellner eventually came in. But so there she was pointing out that right now they are with Brendan basically at the same point. They can still now do their own motion for post-conviction relief, a 97406, and just like Stephen is currently taking through the appeals court. I think it's prudent of them to wait and see what shakes loose as Kathleen Zellner continues to dismantle the state's narrative and the state's assertion of how things went. And as she continues to dismantle it and the sparks continue to fly, then we'll see. We're going to see then what's going on. And things get laid a bit more bare, I would say. By the way, guys, if you guys want to get your Kose Wrecking Crew Rally t-shirt, there's 9 days left. Pom Pom just put the link right there. They're really cool shirts. They say we all live on Avery Road on the back. They're really cool. So I would encourage everybody, if you're at all interested, especially if you're going to be going to Rally, maybe get one of those. Represent the Wrecking Crew while you're there. We'd love it. Eisenberg testified at Vidi's trial. Yep. Cracking a pepper. Yep, that was me cracking a Dr. Pepper. Well, right now the bones are in a crypt, or either in a hole in the ground, or they're in a wall somewhere. But they're not just like in a locker somewhere where people can go access them easily. PM Ziggy for the stickers, folks. She's got the cool stickers, the cool Avery Road stickers. The design for the shirts was created by our very own Finn. Great job, Finn, over there, by the way. Teresa's grave, then. Mark is pointing out Teresa's grave is where these bones would now lie. Finn designed the shirt, so that's cool. And guys, check out Finn on Twitter because she's doing the hashtag 80 more things, and she's brilliant over there. Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. You can file a 97406, no question. You have to make sure you have as much as possible because you have to bring everything at one time. Yeah, join us on Discord as well. That's where you can find all these things as well. Links to the shirts and links to a lot of various things. I know where bones are. Just asking if KZ would get them. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it a few times. I mean, it would require either Judge Suk to issue a subpoena for them, which I would imagine that they're loath to do that. But maybe they will. Maybe Judge Suk will do that. I don't know. I guess the state could ask the Hallbox. You know, I don't know. But yeah, that's where it's at. Either the judge orders it and subpoenas them, or state has to work it out with the Hallbox. Dirty cop that had access to the funeral home is the cop that did the partial cremation of Teresa, then planted the bones all over. Barter just screwed. Ha ha ha. I know what you mean there, Bella. So that's where we're at right now. Obviously, we're waiting for Judge Sukwich. I mean, Kathleen Zellner tweeted today. I could probably show you guys that real quick as well. All right, we do a little screen share here. Okay, so you guys can see right here that waiting for the predictable adverse ruling from the lower court so that we can return to the higher court where hopefully justice is not on permanent holiday. So she's anticipating that this may go back up to the appeals court. And it's like I said, from judging from some of the decisions and orders I've now read from the appeals court, even regarding the CD, I get the feeling that those judges over there are starting to just like shake their heads at this situation and at the way this all went down. My personal opinion. But yeah, that's her tweet there where she's ready for this to go back to the appeals court. She's ready for anything. We don't know if they have been cremated. We've not seen anything yet that even confirms they were delivered to the funeral home. There needs to be an evidentiary hearing to sort those facts out. There you go. I've been saying a long time, there's so many things getting tossed around. There needs to be an evidentiary hearing to sort things out, but Judge Sukowicz to this point has been not wanting to do that. The state are not confirming their Teresa's. That's correct. That's why the argument is they reawakened the Hallbach family grief in 2011 to give them possibly Hannibal bones. Right? That's the state's current argument. Sad. Seems reasonable grounds for exhumation. I think during the Mammoth-on would be a good time to put out the lights. I am thinking green since the shirts. Yeah, it would be great, Ziggy. That's a good one, actually. Stickers are green. Amazon had the good deals. That would be good. We got a week here. We could do that. That'd be awesome, actually. And people could send their pictures to us of their porch lit up with their green light at night and everything, and we could post them. I would be willing to put, little slideshows together to put on during Mammoth-on for people to see all the porches. So let's talk about it. Sounds like it might be a good idea. And I would love to be able to get people out there involved and, so that they can show their pride, Teal blue or dark green. I don't know how to PM you. If the appellate court keeps sending it back, at which point do you claim judicial bias and give Pig Sukowitz the freaking boot? Well, if they find in Avery's favor in the appeals court, they may do exactly that and do an end around on her. Yeah, Travis, have you ordered one yet, dude? Come on. We need that one. We need your support, buddy. Suddenly his phone went dead. Oh, nope, there he is. She claimed judicial bias in this motion. Yes, she did. If you want your name on it, you'll need to PM me so I can order it for you. Well, that's true. I'm going to have the dude on mine. It's going to be pretty sweet. It's going to be like embroidered. It's not going to just be like an iron-on sticker, which is good. Built to last. Anyways. 5150. That's hilarious. Good Lord. Anyways. The appellate courts keep sending it back because things keep coming up that warrant, being addressed, right? When Zellner was just asking for testing, that wasn't enough. But when Zellner figured out that those bones had been given away and it was a violation of statute, suddenly it became a whole different ballgame, didn't it? The appeals court is looking at this stuff and they're just going like, what's happening here? How is this stuff still coming out in the present day? The appeals court's got to be, I think, at least in somewhat of a quandary as to how this is happening and still continuing to happen. James Van Hoof. We talked about all that stuff. We went away from red and blue because of police and emergency vehicles. We didn't want to cause any confusion or anything like that with any kind of emergency vehicles. So we decided not to go with those two colors because most people wouldn't see the heart from a distance anyway. They're just going to see the blue glow. So we ended up going with green because we felt that was the one color we could use that wasn't, it wasn't like yellow and used for caution, and it wasn't, you know what I mean? We went round and round and round, and we eventually decided on green, just so you understand that. I would say teal is more of a blue, personally. It's like an aquamarine. It's for me, it's more blue, personally, in my opinion. I agree with Bella. Mike Morris still does not have an opinion. G-Man Steve Moore has his stance on Avery hasn't changed. He hasn't really been able to look into the case anymore since the last time he was on. because he is currently doing something and he's quite busy, going through some training for something. So he hasn't had time to be going through court documents and that sort of stuff. So he still doesn't have a definitive opinion on Stephen Avery. The fact that he's unable to give an opinion on Stephen Avery after everything he's read only tells you how ridiculous this investigation is, because he's also not willing to tell you that Stephen Avery is guilty. He's not willing to say he's innocent, but he's also not willing to say he's guilty. And so for me, that speaks to the train wreck of the investigation we have. So it's always great to have him on, G-Man Moore on, because he's going to tell you what was wrong with this investigation, because it bothers him. He probably wishes he could be more sure, just like I do, right? But because this investigation was such a freaking idiot mess and bungled at almost every turn, that you can't be sure of anything. So that's what I love about him. Also, he's 100% on board. Brendan was railroaded and wrong. This was completely, hey, the truth train. Anyway, he believes that Brendan was absolutely 100% wrong, and that, these investigators were just thick and just not very good at their job, is the way he put it in the previous video. So it's going to be great to have him on to talk about these things. And, you heard it? All right, Ziggy heard it. Rhetorical question. Yeah, it's purple with polka dots. Jamie Van Hout. So they did it with blue lights. Well, in a rural area, I suppose it'd be maybe okay. I'm in the city myself, and I mean, that's the type of thing that you could get in trouble, because if you confuse emergency vehicles or police vehicles, because our police vehicles have blue and red lights, and our fire engines and our ambulances all have red lights. So those red is the universal thing for emergency here. So we stay away from red. The police cars have the blue to signify police. So using blue lights kind of ends up possibly being confusing in that sense. So do me a favor, Jamie Van Hout, if you haven't, joined Discord and talk with us over there. We have a room where we can chat about this, but like I said, we did discuss doing blue, and for exactly the same reasons that you're pointing out. We thought that would actually be a really good thing, but then we were worried, like I said, about police vehicles and the fact that they use blue lights. So, but we'd love to have the conversation with you, and we could probably do it over in Discord, because there's a room for that type of stuff. So, we need Stacy music released on CDs so we can crank it when we go through Manitowoc. Volunteer fire, have blue here. So, folks, if I can suggest, check out Amazon and get one of those bulbs that changes different colors, and you can change the color for different occasions. There you go, Ziggy. I think I have an example of mine in the rally room in Discord. There you go. So you guys can try out Ziggy with the link for the light that Ziggy's talking about to get yours, to put it on your porch for Mammoth-on weekend. And you can put on the, we'll talk about what color. We'll talk about it. But like I said, there's a concern about the blue because of emergency vehicles, particularly police vehicles. So, Steve, I said, has not been able to look into documents. He's in training. He's doing some training right now, and he's just not had time to look into any documents. I just still think he's a great addition to Mammoth-on. despite the fact that he's been busy and hasn't had time to do that yet. He has been able to learn a little bit about it, but he still doesn't have a definitive opinion on Steven Avery yet. Steve Moore is the retired FBI agent. You may have seen the video I did with him. He's retired FBI. The investigation wasn't bungled. It was culpably contrived. You may be right, Mark. You may be right, buddy. Something very sinister happened in the gravel pit. I agree. Does all colors: red, white, blue, green, purple, orange. So, yeah, everybody get one of those bulbs for Mammoth-on weekend, or try to. And then if you don't, at least get it for rally weekend. So if you can't be at rally, then at least your porch can be showing your support for Stephen and Brendan at night that weekend of rally. So. And remember, if you're going to be at rally, or even if you're not going to be at rally and you just want to have one of the Kose Wrecking Crew rally t-shirts, make sure you check into the link that Julie posted for the Wrecking Crew rally t-shirts. They're really cool. And, so please, check that out. Go to that link, get yourself a rally t-shirt. Especially if you're going to be there, because, hey, I'd love to see all the Cozy heads and all the Kose's Wrecking Crew folk out there decked out in the Kose Wrecking Crew rally t-shirts. So please get one, and hopefully we'll see you guys. Yeah, you are kind of late, Linda. I'm actually getting ready to wrap up. Girls don't put red lights outside your houses. Yeah, good advice, Mark. That's good advice, buddy. Good one. Dog, that's a question we all have. What did Dog say? Why is KZ not allowed to test the ref? Well, because they don't want to let her. I don't know what else to say other than that. But, if things are going the way I think, they're not going to be able to stop it. Especially if Steven gets a new trial. If Steven gets a new trial, she gets access to all that, I would think pretty much immediately. Or as soon as they decide they're going to be bringing charges. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But, she's going to be like a bulldog about it. Okay, Linda. So it's like I said, these are the things that continue to come out about the case, things that continue to be there that, like you thought the CD being held in Tom Fassbender's personal custody for 12 years was odd, right? The way they were hiding that content on that computer. But then you get this thing with the bones and how they were hiding what they did. And it's just like, and you just see this dishonest thread running through pretty much everything that the state does. In either of the cases against Steven Avery. Honestly, there's really no difference. There really isn't. So, we're going to go ahead and play the Mammoth-on trailer one more time on the way out, and one more Stacy song, of course. So, it's obviously been fun having you guys here tonight. Thank you guys always, as usual, for coming and being here. I appreciate it. And like I said, it's all about spreading the message and continuing to spread the message. It's, and that's what Mammoth-on is, really hopefully going to be a big part of what we're trying to do there with keeping it, keeping everybody excited, and that there's, stuff to do. Like, there's going to be that, a lot of good talk that weekend across all of our YouTube channels. So I think it's going to be good for everybody to get involved. But let's go ahead and watch the Mammoth-on trailer one more time before we go out with Stacy.
Join us on YouTube starting April 26th for a 48-hour Making a Murderer telethon. We will be discussing the case, raising awareness for the cause, promoting the Justice Rally taking place on June 15th, and most importantly, raising money for Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey's canteens. Join hosts Erekose on Making a Murderer, Allie Apperson, Tracy Strunzi, and Paul Capaldi for engaging conversation, discussion of new developments, and analysis of just what the heck is in all these legal documents. We even have some surprise special guests lined up, so catch up on your sleep now because you won't want to miss 1 minute. For more information, see our event page on Facebook. Just go to bit.ly/Mammoth-on. That's bit.ly/MAMATHON. You can also visit us on Twitter. We can't wait to see you there.
All right, so that is the Mammoth-on trailer promo featuring Fen. We love Fen. Go check out Fen on Twitter. She's got her hashtag 80 more things going right now, and it's freaking beautiful. I love it. So show her your support. Give her some retweets on her hashtag 80 more things. She's been going now. She's down to like day 56. So she's been going every day for a while. So go back and look at all the things she's been pointing out. Retweet some of her stuff. Show her some love, folks. She's doing that every day and coming up with a new thing every day. I love it. It's great. I love looking forward to what Fenn's got every day. So let's move on to Stacy here.
He's innocent. The day always comes if you're innocent.
Get on the train before it leaves the station. Wisconsin versus Avery, a complete fabrication. Get on the train before it leaves town. The truth train is coming, gonna run them down, run them down. And we all know Stephen and Brendan were blamed, but it does not take a brain surgeon to see that they were framed. And yes, we know what this was about. The civil suit, the settlement, they did not want to pay out, want to pay out. And you may hear this song, or maybe you don't get it. I suggest you look up TikTok, Manitowoc on Reddit. There you will find trial transcripts, evidence files, and reports, and you will start to fathom the corruption within the court. And as you shake your head because everything seems demented, you will find yourself in company of 3 unbanked judges that dissented. But don't you worry, you're not going insane. You just happen to sit down on Zelda's True Train. Get on the train before it leaves the station. Final destination, inevitable exoneration. Get on the train before it leaves town. The truth train is coming, gonna run them down, run them down. Get on the train.
All right, guys. That's about it. It's a pleasure to be with all of you tonight. And see you here. And we'll see you next time. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe.